Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Warren's Team Talk. And thank you so much for coming to pay me and my channel a visit. Anyway, I hope that you're all well and that you're all enjoying the nice sunny weather. Anyway, but I'm back today with another brand new and exciting video in my England's most successful football club video series. And today in episode 26, I'm going to be looking at West Bromwich Albion, otherwise known as the Baggies. So I hope that you're going to really enjoy it. I'm sure it'd be great. I'm sure it'd be really entertaining. Anyway, the Warren's Team Talk coach driver is just getting the coach ready for us so we can go up on our trip up to the Black Country. But just before I go, I just want to remind you all that if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also hit the like button, and please make sure that you share the show with anyone who you feel might enjoy it. Anyway, so well, it looks like to me, yeah, the driver's giving me the thumbs up, which means that we're ready to go. So let's get moving and get on the Warren's Team Talk coach, enjoy the in-coach entertainment, and get on with the show. So here we are, everyone. We just pulled up in West Bromwich, and we're at the Hawthorns to go and visit our friends West Bromwich Albion. Now, West Bromwich Albion, they finished 15th in the Warren's Team Talk table, and they amassed 3,952 points. Now, West Bromwich Albion, they're obviously they obviously come from the West Midlands, and they were formed in 1878, and they played their home games at the Hawthorns since 1900. The club also has the nickname of the Baggies, and there are many theories as to why they have this nickname, ranging from the fact that the club's supporters wore baggy trousers to protect them whilst at work in the factories and foundries, to baggy shorts worn by the club's players in its early years. So take your pick and take your chances, I guess, with that one. Anyway, West Brom were one of the 12 founding members of the Football League, which started in 1888. And the Baggies achieved their first success in the 1885-86 season when they reached their first ever FA Cup final and started a process of reaching 3 successive FA Cup finals. The first of these FA Cup finals, in the 1885-86 season, they sadly lost 2-0 to Blackburn Rovers after a replay which was held at the racecourse ground in Derby, where the first game ended in a 0-0 draw, which was played at the Kennington Oval in London, as most of them were at that time. Anyway, the next season, 1886-87, West Brom repeated defeat of being losing finalists in the FA Cup final when they lost 2-0 to Midland rivals Aston Villa in the cup final. And on this occasion, as in the previous year, the game was played at the Kennington Oval in London. Now, the very next season, in 1887-88, it would prove to be third time lucky, though, for the Baggies, when they defeated Preston North End 2-1 to take the Coat Trophy back to the Black Country. Now, this, however, does not tell the full story, as it seems that the Bagpies' opponents that day were heavy favourites to win the final, because in the first round, Preston set a record by beating Hyde 26-0. Yeah, 26, didn't hear that wrong. 26-0, which I'm pretty sure this record still stands to this day. Well, it will do until my mate Elton plays his next FA Cup match, I'm sure. Anyway, so you heard that, Elton. You've got a target now. Next time you play in an FA Cup match, you've got to make sure your team wins at least 26-0. Anyway, the Preston team that day was so confident of victory in the final that they asked to have a team photo taken with the FA Cup before the game, and the FA president at the time, a gentleman by the name of Major Francis Marindine, responded by saying to them, "Hadn't you better win it first?" And the Preston players were so confident of victory that they even offered bets to the West Brom players about the outcome of the match. And not one of the West Brom players took up the offer. Anyway, so as you can see, that season, West Brom on their route to the final, they beat Wednesbury Old Athletic 7-1 at home. They defeated Mitchell St George's away 1-0. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0 at home. And then in the fourth round, they got a bye. And then the next round, they defeated Stoke 4-1 at home. And then in the sixth round, they defeated Old Carthusians 4-2, again at home. And then in the semi-final, they defeated Derby Junction. And it seems that this game was played at West Brom's home ground, but I'm not sure about that. But I couldn't really find out too much about that match. Anyway, the final, as we mentioned, West Brom won by 2-1. And the game was played at the Kennington Oval. And yeah, it was played in front of an attendance of around about 19,000. So, yeah, it seems that the Preston team was a little bit too cocky for my liking anyway. So I'm glad they lost that game, to be quite honest. I'm asking to have a photograph taken with the cup before the game had even been played. No wonder the mayor told them, "Don't you think you better win it first?" It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? But there you go. Nothing against Preston, but I just think that team sounded like they needed to be taken down a peg or two. But anyway, moving swiftly on. Then 3 years later, in the 1891-92 season, West Brom won their second FA Cup when the Baggies defeated their Midland rivals Aston Villa 3-0 in the final, again at the Kennington Oval, and again in front of a crowd of over 32,000. And on the way to the final, they defeated Old Westminsters, Blackburn Rovers, the Wednesday, who would later be known as Sheffield Wednesday, and Nottingham Forest, who they needed 3 games to get past in order to was it to the final? Yeah, it was. It was they played them in the semi-final. So yeah, so that was a bit of a marathon of a match. And then 3 years later, in the 1894-95 season, West Brom reached the FA Cup final again. And on this occasion, unfortunately, they again lost 1-0 to Aston Villa, who they had beaten 3-0 in their previous appearance in the FA Cup final. So the Villa got their revenge over their West Midland rivals for that defeat. Anyway, the final was played at the Crystal Palace Stadium in London and was played in front of a crowd of over 42,000 fans. This final was notable for the fact that Aston Villa's Bob Chatt is alleged to have scored the fastest goal in FA Cup final history when he scored the winning goal after 30 seconds. Now, the Baggies' next success after this came in the 1901-1902 season, when they found themselves in the second division Tier 2, and they won the second division Tier 2 title, which was also the first league title success in their history. And they won promotion also that year to the first division as a consequence of winning the second division. So then 4 years later, in the 1905-1906 season, the Baggies secured a fourth place finish in the second division, Tier 2, and they finished 10 points behind the promotion places. So that must have been a bit of a blow for them, I guess. Anyway, the Baggies repeated this feat the very next season in 1906-1907, when they secured another fourth place finish. And as with the previous season, they again finished 10 points behind the promotion places. However, 2 years after this second fourth place finish, in the 1908-1909 season, the Albion finished third in the second division Tier 2. However, they failed to win promotion after they were edged out of the second promotion spot by Tottenham Hotspur, who West Brom finished equal on points with at the end of the season. They both finished on 51 points, and Spurs finished above West Brom by the fact that they had a better goal average of 0.02 of a goal. Then finally, in the 1910-11 season, West Brom made up for the disappointment on missing out on promotion 2 years earlier to Tottenham Hotspur, when the Baggies won the second division Tier 2 title, when they finished 2 points ahead of Bolton Wanderers and a further 2 points ahead of Chelsea, who finished third that year. Then the very next season in 1911-12, West Brom successfully reached the FA Cup final again, and on this occasion the Baggies lost 1-0 to Barnsley after a replay. The first game had ended in a 0-0 draw after extra time, which was played at the Crystal Palace Stadium, again in London, which attracted a crowd of over 54,000 people. And the replay, which West Brom, as I say, lost 1-0, was played at Bramall Lane in Sheffield in front of a crowd of just over 38,000 people. An incredible story about this cup final is that Albion's run in the cup, combined with several postponements from the early part of the season, which meant that they were forced to play 7 games in 10 days at the end of the season. This included an away match at Everton on the 22nd of April, in between the final and the replay. Albion lost the match 3-0 with a reserve side and were fined £150 by the Football League for fielding a weakened side. Although 9 of the 11 players had previously played in the league for the first team anyway. So, yeah, it sounds a bit harsh, really, doesn't it? I mean, I don't think I would have been too happy if that had happened to one of my teams. Anyway, then in the first season after World War I, in the 1919-20 season, West Brom comfortably won their first ever First Division Tier 1 title, with a winning margin of 9 points over Burnley, who finished second that season. Also, on the 15th of May 1920, West Brom defeated Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 to win the FA Charity Shield, with the game being played at Tottenham's White Hart Lane Stadium, which saw an attendance of just over 38,000 people. And then 5 years after winning their first ever First Division Tier 1 title, in the 1924-25 season, West Brom finished as runners-up in the First Division Tier 1 title to Huddersfield Town by 2 points. And then a further 6 years passed until the 1930-31 season, when West Brom finished second in the Second Division Tier 2. And that year they were finished 7 points behind champions Everton. So then, and that year they won promotion up to the First Division Tier 1. Also in the 1930-31 season, West Brom won the FA Cup when they defeated their West Midlands rivals Birmingham 2-1 at Wembley Stadium in front of a crowd of in excess of 92,000. This meant that the Baggies achieved the double of winning the FA Cup and promotion in the same season. And to date, they remain the only English club ever to achieve this feat. Then the following season, following on from this promotion and FA Cup victory in the 1931-32 season, West Brom were runners-up in the FA Charity Shield when they lost 1-0 to Arsenal at Villa Park in Birmingham in front of a crowd of just over 21,000. Then the next season, in the 1932-33 season, the Baggies secured a fourth place finish in the First Division Tier 1 when they finished 9 points behind the league champions that year, Arsenal. 2 years after this fourth place finish, the Baggies returned to Wembley Stadium for the FA Cup final. However, unfortunately for the Baggies, on this occasion they lost 4-2 to Sheffield Wednesday in front of a crowd of 93,204. And this was the last success that the Baggies would have before the outbreak of World War II. After World War II ended, West Brom achieved their first success in the 1948-49 season when they finished second in the Second Division Tier 2 and finished 1 point behind the Second Division champions Fulham and 1 point ahead of third place Southampton. This second place finish also saw the club return to the First Division Tier 1. And then 4 years after this, in the 1952-53 season, West Brom secured a fourth place finish in the First Division Tier 1. Then the following season, in the 1953-54 season, the Baggies successfully achieved a second place finish when they finished 4 points behind their Black Country rivals, Wolverhampton Wanderers. So I'm sure that led to a lot of banter in the Black Country. I really am. Anyway, so that season, the Baggies also won the fourth of their 5 FA Cups when they defeated Preston North End 3-2 at Wembley Stadium in front of a capacity 100,000 crowd. And on the way to the final, the Baggies defeated Chelsea 1-0 at home, Rotherham 4-0 at home, Newcastle United 3-2 at home, and then Tottenham Hotspur 3-0 at home in the 6th round before they defeated Port Vale 2-1 at Villa Park in Birmingham in the semi-final. And then if you see here, we have some pictures of the FA Cup final in 1954 that I was able to find. There's one of which what looks like the West Brom captain that day holding the trophy aloft. And then there's a picture of Ronnie Allen scoring a penalty for the Baggies against the opposition goalkeeper. And it seems that the goalkeeper got his hands to it, but the pace was too much for him, and Albion had scored their equaliser. Then Preston North End equalised, and their West Brom goalkeeper, Jim Sanders, is well beaten, as it says there, by the left winger Angus Morrison's header. And then finally, the last picture we have is Baggies left winger George Lee beating Preston right back Willie Cunningham and puts it in a quick centre, and Ronnie Allen puts West Brom into the lead. So there you go, some nice pictures from the 1954 Cup final there. And thanks to my old buddy Daryl for helping me get these pictures. So yeah, fair play to him, mate. Thank you so much. And then the next season, in the 1954-55 season, the Baggies ended up sharing the FA Charity Shield with their Black Country rivals when they fought out a 4-4 draw at Wolverhampton Wanderers Molineux ground. The Baggies showed great resilience in the game when they fought back from 2-0 down and then 4-2 down to finally draw the game 4 each, meaning that the shield was shared between the two clubs. Then 3 years after this drawn Charity Shield match, the Baggies would go on to secure a 4th place finish in the First Division Tier 1 in the 1957-58 season, when they finished 14 points behind the league champions that season and Black Country rivals Wolverhampton Wanderers. And then 2 years later, in the 1959-60 season, the Baggies repeated this feat of finishing 4th in the First Division Tier 1, when on this occasion they finished closer to their league champions than they had 2 seasons earlier, when they finished 6 points behind the league champions that season, Burnley. Then West Brom would then not enjoy any further success until the 1965-66 season, when on the first time that they entered the European competition, the Football League Cup, they defeated West Ham 5-3 on aggregate in the final to take the trophy back to the Black Country. And then the next season, in the 1966-67 season, the Baggies returned to Wembley Stadium to defend their League Cup trophy, but that they'd won the year before. However, sadly for the Baggies on this occasion, they lost 3-2 to Queen's Park Rangers. And also this season, the club made its first ever foray into European football when they competed in the Intercity Fairs Cup. And their Intercity Fairs Cup campaign that season lasted just 2 rounds, when in the first round they defeated DOS Utrecht of Holland 6-3 on aggregate, and then unfortunately they lost 6-1 on aggregate to Italian side Bologna in the second round. So yeah, that must have been quite upsetting, really. Yeah, you don't mind losing, but to be humiliated like that, it's not good, is it? And then getting slapped 6-1. Yeah, because I would have been really, really annoyed if that had been one of my teams. Anyway, so the following season, in the 1967-68 season, the Baggies returned to Wembley Stadium for the FA Cup final, and they won their 5th and to date last FA Cup. And they've also, interestingly enough, not reached an FA Cup final since. And en route to the final that season, the Baggies defeated Colchester United, Southampton, Portsmouth, Liverpool, and Birmingham City. Now, remarkably, that cup run saw the Baggies need a replay in every single round except for the semi-final to get past their opponent. So they must have been exhausted by the time they got to the final, the poor sods. Anyway, then when they got to the final, they defeated Everton 1-0 with the winning goal coming from a certain Jeff Astle, who scored in every round that the Baggies played in that FA Cup run. The following season, in the 1968-69 season, West Brom played Manchester City in the annual Curtain Raiser Charity Shield match, and they ended up losing heavily 6-1 to Manchester City, which unfortunately for the Baggies, it seems that no club has ever suffered a heavier defeat than this in the history of their charities / community shield. So yeah, that couldn't have been good at all. Also that season saw the Baggies return to European competition when they competed in the European Cup Winners' Cup, when they defeated Club Brugge and Dinamo Bucharest before being knocked out in the third round / quarterfinals by Scottish side Dunfermline Athletic, who themselves lost in the semi-finals to eventual winners Slovan Bratislava. And then the Baggies' next success then came in the 1975-76 season, when they finished third in the second division Tier 2 and finished 3 points behind the champions that season, Sunderland, and finished behind second place Bristol City on goal average by 0.171 of a goal. But this third place finish did not give the Baggies promotion up to the first division, Tier 1. Then 3 years on from this, in the 1978-79 season, West Brom secured a third place finish in the first division, Tier 1, which was their highest ever league finish in English football since the 1953-54 season. And at this time, the club also had a very exciting team, which included Cyril Regis, Brendan Batson, and Laurie Cunningham. Now, Laurie Cunningham became the first English player to ever play for Real Madrid, and they were and West Brom at that time were also managed by the notorious and larger-than-life Big Ron Atkinson. Now, Big Ron Atkinson, he was known for his suntans, big coats, and chunky jewellery. So, yeah, but he was a great manager, but he was, like I say, larger-than-life sort of character. Also this season, the club entered the UEFA Cup, and it saw them defeat Galatasaray of Turkey, Portugal's Braga, Valencia of Spain, before being knocked out by Yugoslavia's Red Star Belgrade 2-1 on aggregate. Now, then the next season, in the 1979-80 season, the Baggies entered the UEFA Cup. However, on this occasion, they sadly got knocked out in the first round by East German side Karlsruhe Jena 4-1 on aggregate. And then the following season, in the 1980-81 season, West Brom finished fourth in the first division, Tier 1, when they finished 8 points behind the league champions that year, West Midland rivals Aston Villa. This fourth place finish, though, entered West Brom into the following season's UEFA Cup for the 1981-82 season. And once again, sadly, they were knocked out in the first round, this time by Grasshoppers of Zurich, again by an aggregate score of 4-1. And then 12 years later, in the 1992-93 season, the Baggies finished fourth in the second division Tier 3 when they finished 5 points behind second place Bolton Wanderers, who claimed the final promotion spot, and 8 points behind the champions that season, Stoke City. But this disappointment was softened because they won promotion this season by defeating Port Vale 3-0 in the playoff final. And then the next success for the Baggies then came in the 2001-2002 season, when they finished second in the first division Tier 2 to win automatic promotion to the FA Premier League, when they finished 10 points behind that season's champions Manchester City, and 3 points ahead of their Black Country rivals Wolverhampton Wanderers, which I'm sure must have made their promotion all the sweeter for the Baggies fans, and I'm sure it did, because there's a really fierce rivalry there between those two clubs. The Baggies then repeated this feat 2 years later in the 2003-2004 season, when they finished second to the champions that season, Norwich, by 8 points, and won promotion again back to the FA Premier League Tier 1. 3 years after this promotion to the Premier League, when the club found itself back in the Championship Tier 2 in the 2007 season, the club finished fourth in the Championship Tier 2, but sadly for the Baggies, they failed to win promotion to the Premier League as they lost 1-0 to Derby County in the playoff final. Then, after this, the very next season in 2007-2008, the club won the Championship Tier 2 title when they finished 2 points ahead of second place Stoke City, which meant they were promoted back to the FA Premier League Tier 1. And then the following season, unfortunately, they were relegated back to the Championship Tier 2. And the year after, in the 2009-2010 season, they recovered from the disappointment of this relegation the year before to win the promotion back up to the FA Premier League Tier 1 when they finished when they finished 11 points behind the champions that year, Newcastle United, who had accumulated an incredible 102 points for the season. The Baggies then, unfortunately, were relegated back to the Championship in the 2017-2018 season after spending 8 years in the Premier League. And then the next season, in the 2018-19 season, the Baggies finished fourth in the Championship but they missed out on promotion back to the Premier League Tier 1 when they lost in the semi-final to the West Midland rivals Aston Villa 4-3 on penalties after the tie had ended 2-2 on aggregate. However, the very next season, in the 2019 season, the Baggies made up for this disappointment of missing out on promotion the previous season by being promoted automatically back to the FA Premier League Tier 1 by securing a second place finish in the Championship. Tier 2 by finishing 10 points behind that season's Championship Tier 2 champions Leeds United and 2 points ahead of third place Brentford. Now, moving swiftly on, as I always like to do, I like to always try and find the all-time 11 for you all to have a look at, and this episode it was no different. I found this all-time West Brom 11 on an independent West Brom website by a fan called Whole Baggy. Anyway, what do you think about Whole Baggy's all-time 11? I personally think it's quite a strong one, but please put your comments about Whole Baggy's 11 in the comments section of the video, and also please put your all-time 11 down in the comments section of the video, as well as any stories that you might have about West Brom or anything like that. Now, let's have a look at the whole, I don't know if it's a man or a woman or who it is. Might be someone's cat for all I know. Anyway, so let's have a look at Whole Baggy's 11. In goal, they went for Tony Godden, and then a centre-back partnership of John Weil and Jonas Olsen, and they went with a right back of Brendan Batson and left back of Derek Statham, a centre midfield pairing of Johnny Giles and Tony Brown, and then and on the wings they had Laurie Cunningham and Willie Johnston, and then up front they went for Jeff Astle and Cyril Regis. So yeah, I quite like that team. I think that's quite an exciting and formidable outfit. But I'll let you put your comments in the video, in the comment section of the video. I'll be really interested to hear what you've got to say about it. And I'm going to put a link to the website where I found Whole Baggy's 11. Like I say, in the video description, in the description of the video, as that website's got quite a few all-time West Brom 11s, which I think might be quite interesting to have a look at. Well, sadly, everyone, that is the end of this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it interesting and informative. As I said in the video, please make sure that you put your all-time West Brom 11s in the comments section of this video, as well as any other interesting comments or stories or anything that you'd like to say about West Bromwich Albion, the Baggies, as they're affectionately known, in the comments section of the video. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But please, before you go, also, if you haven't done so already, please put a like on the video, and please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and also pass it on to anyone you may think might enjoy watching it. And remember, it's completely free, so you don't have to pay, and it should only take you a second to do that. And hopefully it will keep you entertained. Anyway, I'll be back again on Saturday with the next episode, so make sure you keep your notifications switched on. But Anyway, more importantly than any of that, please, please, please make sure you look after yourselves and share some love, kindness and joy around the world, and please keep talking to each other. Anyway, so remember, have a great time and enjoy yourselves, and always do that. Anyway, so take care, and I look forward to seeing you again on Saturday. Take care now. Bye.